Today on Legally Yes, Lisa Vanderpump and Ken Todd are sued for wrongful termination as Brock Davies opens up about his custody battle. As Goth is also sued for kicking a coworker. We've got that plus so much more on today's Legally Yes. Hey everyone, and welcome to Legally Yes. I'm Christina. That's, of course, Nima Rahmani, President and CEO of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Hi, Nima. How are you?
Doing great, Christina. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. Vanderpump Rules is just around the corner, so we got some news about the stars of the show. Lisa Vanderpump and Ken Todd are probably not happy right now because they are being sued by former TomTom employees for wrongful termination. So they allegedly fired bartenders from the restaurant in retaliation for complaining about the working conditions. In the lawsuit, a former employee claimed Vanderpump and Ken blacklisted him by defaming him to future employers. According to the unnamed individual, Lisa and Ken published false statements and comments to numerous third parties regarding his profession, reputation, and character. The bartender claimed the rumors and false statements were made with actual malice, which affected his career. The paperwork also alleged that TomTom had unsafe work conditions, including sewage and backup in the employee break room. Now, during this period, the former bartenders experienced rampant violations of California labor laws, harassment, and unsafe working conditions. So would you be nervous if you were Ken and Lisa getting this lawsuit?
I would, Christina, and there's a lot going on here. So California is an at-will state, which means that employees can be fired for any reason as long as it's not a prohibited reason. Now, one of those prohibited reasons is retaliation. So if an employee complains about a violation of law, it could be a wage and hour issue, a workplace safety issue, or even a law that protects the customers of a restaurant. They can't be retaliated against, or there can't be any adverse employment action taken against them. That includes termination.
So how does this former bartender, how is he going to prove that they talked poorly about him to other future employers and things like that? So is he going to have to come with some evidence?
Yes, so that's the second claim in the case. So the first is the employment claim, the wrongful termination. But there's also a defamation claim. And just like the other defamation cases we've covered here on the show, you can't say false things about people, either knowing they're false or with reckless disregard for the truth. And if there's damages, that's a defamation claim. So if it's really true that Lisa badmouthed the former employee, and because of that, the former employee was unable to get another job, that is all the elements of a defamation claim.
And then also these unsafe and work conditions and things like that too. Would that involve the state coming in to do more inspections and things like that as well?
Potentially, OSHA can get involved. And obviously, whenever you're dealing with restaurants, there's administrative agencies that oversee them, in addition to any other workplace. So, you may have the health department get involved. Obviously, there's workplace safety issues. But whenever you're an employee and you're making a complaint like this, I just advise everyone, make sure those complaints are in writing. You want to document everything in case there's an issue later on down the road. It's not necessarily a he said, she said, or she said type situation, because it's all in writing.
Yeah. So do we think that this former employee is looking for damages? Is he looking for a certain number involved in this?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, that's not someone that we're representing. I don't know what his or her salary was. I don't know how long it will take for this person to get a job. And if they're out of work for a significant period of time, weeks or months, I mean, those damages can rack up. And in addition, if it is malicious and if it's wrongful, then you might even get punitive damages in a case like this. And California is very employee friendly. We know that. So you can also get attorney's fees for the employment claims as well. Not necessarily for the defamation, but the damages can rack up pretty quickly in a case like this.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. All right. Well, in other Vanderpump news, Chyna Shay's husband, Brock Davies, revealed he did not see his children from his previous marriage while recently visiting Australia. So during season 9 of Vanderpump Rules, his oldest children were definitely a plot point. He said, it's more complicated than me kicking in the front door and seeing my kids. The situation between me and my ex was toxic. And there was an instance one time, and I did slap my partner. I did. I'm not proud of that. He said in a November 2021 episode that they had an argument and that he slapped her. He added that following that, we moved to France. My little boy was born. We separated, and then we found out we were pregnant with my little girl. That led to an argument with me and her dad, and they pressed the domestic violence order on me. At the time, he explained that he went to court to appeal the charge, and it was lifted, but his relationship with his ex didn't get any better, and she allegedly took his children away. He later clarified that he stopped paying child support, which is why he wasn't able to reunite with his kids. He has since paid his child support in full. He is up to date and working on building trust with his children. So with him being up to date with his child support payments, can he fight to see his children? I mean, he does live in California. She lives in Australia. So there's, a world between them pretty much. But, this is a very complicated situation, it seems like.
Very. And obviously, I know Brock from having represented Chyna.
Right. Yep.
And there's a difference, apparently, at least in U.S. law and Australian law, and this is a very important difference. In the United States, failure to pay child support by itself is not grounds for someone to lose custody or to no longer get visitation. Now, that's a legal duty that parents have. They have to support their children, and there's all sorts of other potential consequences for failure to pay child support, right. But losing your kids is not one of them. Now, the law may be different in Australia. I don't know. But right. What I can say is in the United States, if you engage in domestic violence, that is a reason for you to lose contact with your kids. So two different issues here. One is the domestic violence, which Brock apparently admits, and the other is the child support issue. But child support, at least in the United States by itself, is not a reason for someone not to see their kids.
Yeah. Is there anything that he could file in the United States now to help his case, maybe, if he really wanted to fight it? It seems like he just wants the children to kind of make their decision on their own and to rebuild that trust. But is there anything that he can do here to get some more access to his children?
There's very little Brock can do here in the United States. It's an Australia case. The kids are in Australia. The marriage and separation happened in Australia. So there's nothing really a U.S. court can do to bind a judge in Australia to give Brock visitation. He's going to have to lawyer up over there.
Yeah, sad situation. Hopefully they can all work it out. All right, well, moving on over to Mia Goth. She has been sued for allegedly kicking a background actor in the head intentionally on the set of Maxine. Actor James Hunter filed a lawsuit against her, claiming that he suffered a concussion in April of 2023 while they were filming the A24 film. He was hired to play a dead parishioner, where Mia, who was playing the leading lady, was instructed to step over his body when he was lying on the ground. He claims the actress was warned to be careful about her steps before she intentionally and willfully assaulted him by kicking his head while she was walking over him with the side of her boot. So the court documents state that the kick in the head caused him to immediately experience headache and stiffness in his neck. No one offered medical assistance to the plaintiff, and no medical assistance was provided. He was ordered to continue filming, and after a handful of takes, the scene was completed. He then alleged that Mia's kick was meant to intentionally punish him for telling a crew member that she was running very close to him in a prior take. So after the scene, he claimed that she invaded his privacy in the bathroom to mock, taunt, and belittle him. And according to the court filing, she allegedly dared him to do anything about the kick. He further alleged that he was removed from the production the next day with no reason, given a subsequently banned from returning to set. At the same time, he allegedly continued to experience symptoms of head trauma, including memory loss, confusion, and disorientation. He is suing her for battery and seeking at least $500,000 in damages, and said that this conduct was calculated to cause injury and severe emotional distress. So does it seem like Hunter has a case in this situation?
Well, it sounds like he does, but obviously we need to see what the video shows. And the fact that it was being filmed, people can lie, Mia can lie, the plaintiff can lie, but video doesn't lie. And, that's something that I would want to look at if I was one of the lawyers in the case, either suing Mia or defending her and saying, hey, what happened here? It's really one of three things. The first was that there was no contact, and this is all fabricated. The second would be that there was contact, but it was unintentional. Now, you can still sue under a negligence theory and get damages, but really it's the third way that you get the most damages, and that's if there's an intentional assault or battery. And if the plaintiff really suffered a brain injury, those are high damage cases. So I'd really want to check the tape on this one, Christina.
No, definitely. And do you think that, I mean, $500,000 seems like a lot of money in this situation. Do you think that is a reasonable number? Do you think it would, if they end up settling, will it be something significantly less than that?
If the plaintiff really did suffer a brain injury and Hunter suffered what we call a TBI, traumatic brain injury, those are very valuable cases because that can completely change the trajectory of your life. You might have memory loss. You might suffer vertigo. I mean, there's all sorts of issues that come with the brain injury. So when you're talking about personal injury cases, they really are among the most valuable, short of death or paralysis or something just really, really catastrophic. But brain injuries are pretty significant, and they tend to be high value cases if the plaintiff really suffered.
Yeah. All right. Well, another one where we will have to wait and see. All right. Well, Nima, thank you so much, as always, for your expertise. Appreciate it.
Of course. Great being on, and I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.